5:03.
We live at 5?
Live at 5.
All right, we're live at 5:03.
5:03.
Of course, as always, with my co-host, Little John the Lumberjack.
Oh, we changed it up.
Yeah, of course I gotta change it. So what are we discussing here today, John?
One of the biggest issues that we come across at the shop that Tim gets questions about, that I get questions about is, hey, I have a manual car. I have a Mark 7 GTI, or I have a Mark 6 or a 1.8 or something like that. What clutch do I get? Is a clutch necessary for daily driving? Is it necessary for road track? Is it necessary for drag racing? And from there, do I go twin disc? Do I do single disc? How's it going to work on my the stock flywheel? I mean, there's so many options that you can go back and forth with.
You could also trade your car in for a DSG. You don't have to worry
You
about
could always trade your car in for a DSG.
But of course, I'm a manual lover myself, so save the manuals. So I was just kidding.
Make front-wheel drive great again.
Yeah, I was just kidding about that. You could trade your car in, you have to buy a clutch. But for something that happens a lot with especially Mark 6, Mark 7, since they do have a lot of low-end torque, the factory clutches do not hold when you get up to the stage 2 area. So
stage 2, okay.
So stage 1, it can happen if you're a crazy driver.
You're talking about Mark 7, for example?
Anything. Really anything. I mean, really 5 to 6 to 7, everything. Even the 4s, kind of. But typically the 6s and 7s with the TSI motors that have a lot of torque down low, they can, tear up a stock clutch on a stage 2.
Absolutely.
I will tell you that a Golf R and manual, with just a simple stage 1, is cutting it close with the stock clutch. We do see brand new cars almost slipping at the higher gears. If you're on the highway, you put it in 5th gear and you just punch it. You will actually get possibly a little clutch slip.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little clutch slip. So you're asking, what are the options?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because there is a lot of options. You have South Bend, you have clutch masters, you have twin disc, you have regular. I mean, daily, endurance, track, stage 3, all sorts of stuff.
So like you said, there's a lot of options. Obviously, you want to try to plan for the future as well. So a lot of customers will say, hey, I want to go to a stage 4 or stage 3, but I'm still stock turbo. You got a realistic plan. Are you really planning on going stage 3 with the car? Are you really going to stay stage 2? Because if you're going to stay stage 2 with the car, there's no reason you need to go to stage 3 or the stage 4. Because if you really think about it, the higher you go in stages, it holds more horsepower. Yeah. So the downfall to the higher you go to hold more horsepower, it's going to be more grabbier. So when it's going to be more grabbier, it's going to be more grabbier.
That's a USP Motorsports trademark word. Yeah, you guys better not use it.
I don't know if that's I don't think it's in the dictionary, but it'll a little more grabbier. It'll be a little more aggressive, okay?
There you go.
A little more aggressive than grabbier, I guess.
Aggressive, also trademarked.
But it'll definitely be a little more harsh for daily driven. So I always tell people, hey, if you're not going to go stage 3, let's just do a stage 2 clutch in the car. Let's match the power you have in the car. You don't need to go crazy. Then of course there's twin disc. So that's when you go past stage 1, the stage 2, 3, and the 4. Some people do a 4. You go to a twin disc setup. So a lot of people say, is the twin disc right for me? Well, the twin disc is great. It's my favorite clutch personally. The problem is the drivability is definitely a little more harsh than a single disc clutch. Wow. So just to give you a quick example of what I mean by single and double and triple, that's how many discs are in the clutch, in the actual setup. So there's a press plate. It could be 1 disc, the flywheel, or it could be a press plate, 2 disc flywheel, or 3 disc flywheel. So the higher you go with disc, the more horsepower to hold. And typically when you go to a twin disc setup or a triple disc, the disc gets smaller. And the reason they get smaller is it makes it a lot easier to shift in the higher RPM. And whenever you go smaller on a clutch disc, you're going to be able to shift higher RPM because the inertia, the disc itself, is smaller in diameter. So it slows down much faster than a larger.
Interesting.
So a twin disc or a triple disc, definitely my favorite personal clutch to race with. I don't know if I would want to daily drive that, but you're going to be able to hit gears at 7,500, 8,000 RPM and get in gear every time without getting locked out. Some of the single disc clutches, you really try to push it in the higher RPM. It's a big, it's a big disc. You will get locked out in the higher RPM if you're an ultra fast shift.
And for example, what was the word clampiness? What did we come up with?
Grabbiness.
Grabbiness.
No, grabby.
Grabbiness.
Grabby.
Grabbiness. So the
does
difference between the twin disc and let's say a stage 3 endurance or stage 3 daily,
Yeah.
is it harder to push down the pedal?
No,
or
so the pedal is
harder?
actually probably
Less.
softer, or if not the same.
Okay.
Okay, it's the engagement is a lot more harsh
Oh,
on a twin disc.
Understand.
So when you're coming out, when you modulate the clutch coming out, you sometimes will have an on-off feeling. Now this is not every twin disc in the market. There's multiple twin discs. Probably one of the most common one we sell is the Clutch Masters. The Clutch Masters Twin, that really kind of fits the Volkswagen and Audi cars. The triple is kind of way out of, that's something I have in the S4. When you get past 1,000 horsepower, then you go to a triple.
They do offer horsepower ranges from, I think they start at 250 to
It's
850.
the stage 2 is like 350 horsepower
Okay.
and up from there.
No. The Clutch Master, this 250, 350, the FX.
Yeah, those aren't horsepower ratings. Those are just what they
No,
call
exactly,
FX
yeah.
250, 350, 450.
Is that what it starts at, the 250?
Yes, that's
And
what
then
the,
goes
yeah.
to 8? Or is it getting higher than that?
Well, then they go to the size. So like an FX, the 725 is
Okay.
actually a 7.25 disc, where the FX 850
Okay.
is an 8.5.
8.5,
disc.
okay, so that's what it's written.
Yeah, so
that's
a
what
heavier car would use a larger disc. So
Yep.
like for instance, the V5 S4s, they're up there 3,500 pounds plus. So they would use the twin disc in an 8.5 inch configuration instead of the smaller 7.25 disc, which is really made for cars that are closer to the 3,000 range and under.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now, what's the difference? People land on South Bend, for example. They see the endurance, they see the daily, they see the extreme. What is the difference in that? Does it have to do with the clamping pressure? or does
So
it
the
have to
endurance
do-
is exactly what it says it is. It's going to last longer
Okay.
than the other models. It has a different material and it's made for longevity.
Okay.
So of course, anytime you have longevity, you're sacrificing horsepower. You're sacrificing to hold the horsepower. 'Cause essentially, that's all a clutch does. Right? A clutch doesn't make a car faster; it just holds the horsepower there. So with an endurance clutch, that's something we sell in the shop for people that just do stage 2s. A Mark 6, Mark 7 with software and a downpipe is nothing more than just a stage 2 endurance. When you go up in the stages, obviously it's a little more expensive, it's a little more harsh to drive, and longevity is not going to be the same.
Okay, understood. So, like we covered, if let's say someone came into the shop, they had a stage 2, they had a downpipe, the intake tune on their Mark 7 6-speed, they would have to. It's
Yeah.
you couldn't be. You'd be able to drive out of the.
No, the car would drive
Yeah,
just
exactly.
fine, but you will,
You feel the slip. Yeah,
depending on how the car has been driven. I've seen cars slip anywhere from 1,000 miles to sometimes I've had customers that have 20,000 miles on a stage 2 Golf R that's manual. They still have a stock clutch. But if it's driven hard and then you put the software and stuff, the chance of your stock clutch slipping is pretty good.
true.
So that's definitely, if you have a manual car, a clutch is in your future.
Yeah, that's
Definitely promise you that.
Anthony Taylor goes Tilton triple carbon clutch for the win.
Well, yeah, so Tilton Triple Carbon is exactly what I have in my Audi S4. They are a very expensive clutch. And you don't need that for a Volkswagen, but yeah, that's what I have in the S4. Of course, that makes 1,100 plus wheel horsepower. And if it wasn't for that clutch, the car wouldn't go anywhere. That clutch is the lifeline of that whole car.
It's true.
It allows me to shift 8,500 RPMs without even thinking about it.
That's true.
So
There's
he is right. That is the best possible clutch. But Volkswagen guys do not want to even know how much those things cost.
He drives automatic cars, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, DS4.
There's a few people in here that's saying that they're going to walk out to the garage and give a nice little pat on the back to their DSG car and be happy that they do have a DSG car and they don't have to deal with the journey that you may have to take on when you drive a 6-speed car, whether that be picking a clutch, finding out what clutch, figuring out which clutch is right for you, dealing with launches at the track, stuff like that. So.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I bought the Golf R, I was really deciding if I was gonna do a manual or a DSG.
I was actually surprised that you.
And I was gonna do a manual car just because I wanted to try to be a hero and take it out there and put a Tilton clutch in it. And But I decided, okay, the DSG is just more rounded for our customer base.
That's true.
Let's go. And then ever since I did that, I've actually fallen in love with the DSG.
That's incredible.
It really is incredible, but there is guys that really are diehard manual. We have one guy that works for us, no matter what they come in, he wants a manual, which I get it. I'm the same way. So, you can, put a sticker on your car that says save the manuals, and, I'm all for it. I'm still a manual guy at heart, but I do kind of wish there was a DSG I could put in my race car in my Audi.
And keep us in the same class.
Yeah, it would make life pretty easy. So.
We had
You had a question. Also, you asked me earlier, can you use stock flywheel?
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Let's touch on that before we get into the other
So
questions here.
typically all the clutch kits we sell have the aftermarket flywheels. So in case you don't know the difference, there's a single mass flywheel to a dual mass flywheel. What is the difference? Okay. Single mass flywheel is exactly that. It's a single mass of steel.
Yep.
Okay, so there's no moving parts on it or anything. A dual mass flywheel is what the cars come with factory. Those have two masses that are on a bearing that rotate back and forth with a spring. Okay, so it rotates back and forth, has little springs in there. What happens is when you really beat those things up, they're great for daily driving, by the way, because when you first engage the clutch, they kind of give a little, they have a little give. So it almost feels like you're driving a fake manual with those things in there. But when you beat the car up with a lot of horsepower, those springs will
More
start.
of a chance for it to slip.
Those springs will come out,
Yeah.
possibly make the clutch slip. What other things have happened? The whole pieces have come apart on us, I've seen, and clutches completely fall
What
apart.
happened to John's car?
So, I'm not sure if he broke, he might, I don't know if he broke on the John's Mark 7.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he broke.
Was it driver or?
No, I mean, he just wore the clutch out, but it didn't break apart. But very common on the Mark 5, Mark 6s, the stock flywheels break apart. Can you put a clutch on a stock flywheel? You can, yes. There's a couple people that make options for that. South Bend, actually, I don't know if we offer that one on South Bend site. I know Clutch Masters we do. So you can do that. That's kind of like a budgeted kit versus doing the flywheel, because of course doing the flywheel, that's a whole kit, I think, stage 3 endurance. So of course doing the whole flywheel is the whole package. It's a lightweight flywheel compared to the factory flywheel, which is a very heavy.
And that's anyone with a stage 2 car, those will work. Using the stock flywheel, or would you, if they're going to do it, would you suggest?
I'd recommend just doing the whole
Exactly,
kit.
yeah.
That's my recommendation. So you're getting rid of the factory flywheel, because if you have that factory flywheel in there, you're still always, there's a chance that that factory flywheel could break with an aftermarket clutch, and then you're having to deal with that all over.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
So we had a nice fellow in here named Zohan.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what would you recommend, what type of clutch would you recommend for a car like Tyler's, but manual?
So a Mark 7?
A Mark 7 GTI with around 500 horsepower.
I mean, honestly, if you're telling me the car makes 500 horsepower, if it was me in a stage 3 kit,
Allegedly 500.
yeah, if it was me in a stage 3 kit, I'd go with a twin disc.
Okay.
That's if you're a hardcore, diehard racer, because the stage 3 kit makes good power, and you're going to be shifting a higher RPM. The car needs to be shifted, 72, 7,300 RPM. So, with that much power, with a single disc clutch, it's hard to really fly in gear.
Exactly.
It's you have to, it's not going to engage as quick as a twin disc. So, if it were me, now if you're not crazy about going to the track and racing, a stage 3 endurance from South Bend will work just fine. That's what we have in one of our customers' cars.
This exact clutch.
Yeah, that's the exact same clutch in that blue Golf R. It's manual.
Oh, yes.
Yep, and it works just fine in that car. If he was taking the car to the quarter mile, which I don't think he is, and just banging gears as hard as he could at 7,200 RPMs, I'd probably say then go to a twin disc.
That's someone actually just commented who has a stage 3 endurance for 2 years, and he explains that he doesn't recommend dropping the clutch too much. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great for daily driving the single, but if you're really taking it to the track,
Doing launches and
yeah,
stuff.
you want to go to a twin disc. There's some other drawbacks to a twin disc as well. Some cars might need a clutch stop.
Exactly.
So there's a few other little things.
I have a South Bend Stage 3 Endurance clutch kit with chatter. It has 30,000 miles on it. When I replace the clutch disc, how important is it to get the same clutch plate or a different one for a KO4 Mark 6 GTI?
He has chatter.
He has chatter at 30,000 miles.
after 30,000 miles?
After 30,000 miles.
So sometimes that question can be a little different. Is he talking about chatter when you come off, or is it chatter when you're hearing the car idle? Because if some of you guys remember that have been in the Volkswagen game for a little bit, South Bend used to offer two different clutches. One that was a silent design, one that was not silent. And what that was when the car was idling, when you weren't stepping on the clutch, it would sound like a box of rocks in your transmission. You would step on the clutch and it would go away. Well, then they came out with a design called a silent design. So some people, sometimes they'll call that chatter or clatter or all kinds of different words they'll call that. So if you're talking about chatter coming off, possibly could be a worn disc. If it gets worn, then it sits on the rivets.
That's what he's saying. When you do replace that clutch disc, how important is it to get the same clutch plate or a different one?
You can get a different clutch plate, like you
And it'll
step
work.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you need to check the surface on your flywheel, possibly have the flywheel resurfaced, and then could need a new pressure plate. I don't, normally if the clutch is worn out, your pressure plate 9 times out of 10 needs to be changed as well, because you don't want to put, if you have a clutch that's all been worn out, it's gonna have the surface of the pressure plate uneven, and that could possibly be worn out. I don't recommend getting all the way in there. I mean, it's anywhere from 8 hours plus of labor and not doing a pressure plate and a clutch at the same time.
Might as well just do
I
it.
would not go into it with just buying a clutch disc, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna pull it apart. You're gonna go, okay, now I need a pressure plate.
That's true.
And if you don't have it when you take the car apart, you gotta overnight it. It becomes a catastrophe. So if the clutch disc is worn, clutch and pressure plate.
Absolutely. Chris Luciano says hi. Another gentleman in here, Mark IV, I guess. I'm guessing GTI, around 400 horsepower. What would you suggest for that? The same thing?
Same thing I would go. Anything over, I'd say anything over 400 horsepower realm, depending on what you're doing. If it's like you're a hardcore racer, you want to drag race the car or road race the car and you're shifting fast, twin disc is really where it's at, you know? But not everyone's looking to do that. A stage 3 endurance, anything over 400 horsepower will work just fine. You know, I mean, back before we really had twin disc back in 05, 06, we had single disc clutches that we were running 9s with. It wasn't that easy because you could not shift that fast. You would hurt transmissions. But we did it just fine. When twin disc came out and started really getting the import scene, it got it made things a lot easier with not getting locked out of gear.
Very true. What do we have here? Why are manuals, this is Barrett, our good friend Barrett on the Mark 7 group. Why are the manuals even still around when DSG holds more power, is faster, and doesn't come with crap clutches from the factory? That's a good question.
Yes.
That's why everyone on here that we just heard the clutch conversation should go out to their garage if they have a DSG, give your DSG car a nice little pat on the back, maybe a small kiss.
Listen, there is still guys, and I'm one of them,
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
die-hard manual guys. I mean, they're just, let's face it, I mean, the manual's awesome. If you were a manual driver from years, I mean, people love driving manual cars.
I know, yeah.
Once you get into the DSG, yeah, it is a game changer. I mean, I don't know, I guess it's, if they offered it just in DSG, it would be, I guess, a GTR.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And it just makes it even sweeter when you mop up one of those DSG cars from the line, or get a jump on them, and it makes it even better.
very challenging.
Very
So,
challenging.
Yeah, very, very challenging.
Managing power, managing traction, all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
Stuff that people take for granted nowadays. So what else do we have?
All right, a few other questions, and we'll talk about stuff we have going on for Fix Fest. We're in the warehouse right now. We have a lot of bins and trailers moving around, getting ready for Fix Fest, which is this Saturday. So if you guys are local, you're coming out. We leave pretty early from Coral Springs to get over there, so it's a long one-day event for us. We'll be bringing all kinds of products we have. I think we have a new product that we're even bringing as well, which I think you put on Instagram earlier. Just a little kind of teaser shot of it, possibly something.
What was it?
I don't know. But there's a couple new things in the pipeline that'll be a Fix Fest, as well as
I know what you're talking about
so
now.
that'll be there.
Sorry.
So what are the deals we have going on? at Fix
Okay,
Fest?
so we have Black Friday coming up, but this Saturday, like Chris says, we'll be at Fix Fest, and we want to take advantage of the time we get to spend with you guys. These are the times that our local Florida family, USP family, can come out, meet us, see our new products, see the cars, see everything. So, in that fashion, we will be running 10% off all of house brands, that's USP, Spoon, Aggressive, RFB, Lager, our OEM Plus line that we just released the 1AT coil pack harness for, and the 1AT coolant hose flange. All those brands will be 10% off. If we don't have it at the show, we could ship it to you. Don't worry. Also, on top of that, APR flashes, 10% off or $100 off, whatever is greater. So the people with the more expensive cars,
I think you get something else with that too, right?
what do you get? Oh, you or 25 off of stage 2 upgrades.
And you get a
USB t-shirt.
USB T-shirt with an APR flash at Fix Fest.
So it's a good incentive. APR offer doesn't really offer that deal very much unless it's around the holiday time. We will be there ready to flash, ready to meet you guys. We're very, very excited. I know if you follow us on Snapchat, Chris has spent some late nights the past few days trying to prepare a vehicle that has been out of commission for a little bit. There is a very small chance, I'm not even going to talk about the numerical number that the car will be ready, but we will be there. We will be there at the Golf R, running that down the track. But like I said, this will be a time for you guys to come out to the show, meet us, we get to meet you, and it'll be a good time. Justin over at Euro Tuning does a great job with this show, and we're happy to be a part of it, honestly.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's been, I mean, how many years have we gone?
Fix Fest, maybe since 2005, maybe?
Jeez.
5, 6, maybe? I don't know, I lost track.
Yeah.
I'd have to really look back, but I'd probably say maybe the first year you did it, maybe 04, 05.
Wow.
I would think maybe.
That's pretty awesome.
We used to have this thing for all the newcomers who've never heard. It's called South Florida Get Together. You were actually still probably in elementary school when this was around. It was called South Florida Get Together, and this was back in the year 2099.
I'm sure there's no racing going on
And
at all.
well, there was some racing going on, but it was held in Markham Park in Davie.
Wow.
And it was huge. It was a huge event. I mean, it was giant. All kinds of people came out, and I think it ended in 2002 when a couple kids went and did donuts in their field, and they're pretty crazy about their grass there, so they went and did donuts, and after that they were never welcome back. But Markham Park was a great venue. If any local guys know where that is, huge for all the cars. So once South Florida Get Together kind of lost out, I think it kind of fizzled away, and then Justin took over doing Fix Fest on the West Coast.
Which just turned, like I said, turned out to be an awesome.
Yeah, it's turned into a really good event. I can't imagine the amount of work it takes to do that.
Oh no, yeah. I would say 2 or 3 more minutes. Do extremely sticky tires have a negative effect on launching a car with a Haldex?
Do extremely sticky tires have a negative effect?
I don't know if this is a trick question or something like that. Maybe for torque limiting on the Haldex?
Possibility. I mean, you would need a little wheel spin to get, so it doesn't bog. What kind of sticky tires? That's what I would have to ask. How sticky? I mean, we're talking like drag radios. Are we talking slicks? Like
Well, what were we talking? What's the word again? What was it? Clampiness or
grabbiness?
grabbiness? It depends on the grabbiness of the tires. What 1 to 10? How grabby are we talking?
I would have to say that since I've never put a set of slicks on a actual new Holodex car, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know the 100% answer to that. I'll find out this weekend.
Oh. He was talking about the Toyo tires, the 888s or
That's a street
TL1.
tire. That's a street tire, so that's not a real sticky tire.
Let's see what we have. Okay, we're gonna cut the questions off unless I see something really good. Julio, that is one of our customers who has a stage 3. He says that he will not be there, but he would love to. A few other people chiming in about the stickiness of the tires, but that is going to complete the question section. Besides Fix Fest deals, we do have Black Friday coming. It is extensive, the sale that we are having for Black Friday. We have spent hours upon hours preparing for this. So please be ready for what we will drop on you. Because It's going to involve giveaways. It's going to involve daily sales. It's going to involve instant sales. It's going to involve videos and all sorts of goodness. Who knows what is going to go on? But please be ready for Black Friday. And by Black Friday, I mean that whole week, that whole 10-day period. We're going to hit you hard every day, different deals.
Because every year, typically, every company just starts doing it early.
I don't know why. It makes me...
So I think Black Friday now is going to start somewhere in September by next year comes. So
Black Month.
yeah, it just gives us so much time to prepare when everybody's just trying to do it faster. Bring it on as quick as you can.
Exactly.
So instead of Black Friday, it's now Black November.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
So, but look out. We've worked really hard on doing a lot of sales, going through everything, seeing what's right for the customers, and really trying to make it a good time where
We really are.
they can buy a lot of products. So we've actually put a lot of work into it this year than in the prior years.
Yeah, I can just list down some of the brands, all of our house brands, USP Spool and Aggressive, Integrated Engineering, KW.
AWE is
AWE.
also going to be
Ooh.
taken apart in Black Friday, which is big because normally some of their sales they haven't done prior. So this is our first year with AWE during Black Friday, and they've honored a sale. So go ahead and check.
And we have a pretty large selection of those AWE
Our AWE
products.
product is huge. Our inventory is, I don't even know how many exhaust systems are over there.
Yeah.
So they do have a lot, but we do have a lot of
We have a
exhaust
lot.
systems.
We have a lot.
Yeah.
So that wraps up today's segment. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. I know this is a little bit long. I think it says 43 minutes on there.
No, it's not that long.
It's not that long?
No, it's probably like 27, 28,
Okay.
which maybe 26. Yeah.
Oh, that could be the old
All
one.
right, so we're running. I'm pulling out away from S4 time right now, so I have to run back to Coral Springs, and hopefully I'll be able to eat dinner tonight. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's about it. I
All right.
appreciate it, guys.
Well, thanks for watching our Live at 5. If you guys are at Fix Fest, we'll see you there on Saturday.
Thank you, guys.